or on Twitter, but there were some words to the effect of just, have patience, trust your process. We're it's a sport with a lot of variance. And, if you do the right things and maintain your process, you just rate a chance to get there. And that, I think those words, I don't know exactly what you said, but they rang really, really true. I think everybody should listen to them. As long as you are doing the right things and playing well and realize what type of variance you're taking on, just have patience and it will come around one of these days. And I was glad to hear that sentiment coming from you.
Yeah, that was awesome. I did start going live already without doing a little intro or anything because I wanted just to get things going. But I agree with what Sheets is saying to Rody, and Rody's certainly been helpful all year in chat for everybody. And dude, it's just really good to see you have a nice night like that. What's up to Kevin, to K9 Bronco, to Kevin in chat too. We're gonna get this thing rolling. Talk about today's slate. If you guys did miss it, Rody did have a monster, score last night in the showdown, and Sheets had a beautiful day in the MMA. So it was a good days all around. I had a good Friday too. There's been good stuff happening all over the place for us lately, and hopefully the same's for you. So let's figure out what we're gonna do today on this weird Sunday slate. And at least we think these games are gonna play. So that's one thing we've got going for us. It's been a little bit shaky every other day doing NBA, not knowing what's gonna happen. But starting it off with you, Rody, and then we'll jump over to Sheets. What games are you targeting? I know we don't feel the need to run back as much today as sort of my general thinking. I saw that question come up in our Discord. And I kind of agree with that. So what teams are you targeting and what games are you focusing on?
Yeah, I was trying to tell people in the Discord earlier today or yesterday target some of the higher total games. I think a lot of people are, trying to where do we get different? We got to play this. We got to go play, some weird wonky stack, don't do that, Try to stay true to your guys. Play these guys with ceilings. You guys don't give up too much ceiling today. I think we hit the big ceiling guys today. We can win. I know everyone's probably going to ask me about Green Bay. I think Rodgers is good. Adams might be a lock for everyone. I think they're going to have to still score points in that game. I like that. I also like some of the Dallas players. I'm not getting a lot of. Maybe CD's got some upside as low owned. Another game, Buffalo, Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, I think, are the quarterbacks that people are probably going to target the most. They have big ceiling scores for this slate. I think those are the guys you want to go to. A couple get different stacks I like. I do like a Joe Burrow stack. Chase and Higgins got over the top on Denver cornerbacks or something I seen. So they got good matchups there for deep balls and good passing environment. So I kind of, if you're going to take a shot, take a shot there. They still have a 20-point total. And then maybe a Trevor Lawrence stack I kind of like to get different in that game too. So I'm kind of just targeting those guys and then filling it in with some of my pieces, not trying to play the Giants. David Mills, if you want a Millie shot, throw him in there with something crappy. If you want a Millie ticket, a $5 ticket, but nothing cash, big GPPs, go with the ceiling guys that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I would agree with most of what you said. I want to ask you one real quick thing before I jump over to Sheets, but if Lamar Jackson does play, shouldn't we be considering Lamar Jackson on the other side in that Green Bay game?
Yeah, that's just such a late news, and I wish we had that early. That's going to be I like it. I prefer Mark Andrews actually as another piece. Right. I think he's good either way in the Rodgers stack if you're going to stack that up. But yeah, Lamar could run wild against the Packers, and you could run it back with a Lamar, Andrews, and then Adams run back, and you can be real different guys. So if you want to save a lineup for late swap, that's an option. You could always late swap into that Cincy stack if you don't get the news, or you can switch into San Fran, some in that game maybe if you wanted lower cost guys.
Yeah, if you're going to play a guy like Lamar, take a weird chance like that, which I'm going to do in a couple lineups, you're going to want to play a bunch of guys in the afternoon games and just be able to swap over to whatever you want.
Swap around, yep.
Yeah. Sheets, what do you think? What games are you targeting on? I know, look, you made the call. I don't even want to say it's the call of the week because we don't know how the game's going to play yet, but it was a very bold call when you made it. It turned into a less bold call, especially with the games being canceled and things as the week's gone on. But are you still all over that Houston and Jacksonville environment?
Dude, I don't want to lose $500. I promised.
You did.
I promised everybody that I have 20% Jacksonville stacks, and so I'm doing it. Now, what's interesting about it is it's to say Jacksonville stacks. It has to we transition into running back after we talk about stacks. We have to discuss like how James Robinson counts towards a Jacksonville stack, or but yeah, I got 25% of Jacksonville on DraftKings, and in addition, I'll go through the other sites too. I do have on Yahoo and FanDuel a good amount of Buffalo and Arizona and San Francisco. And the Buffalo thing scares me because I do agree with Rhodey in that I think this is he said high totals. I think also he's a big blitz guy, and I respect the blitz too. And as I've been mentioning in the last couple of weeks, as you get into December, the discrepancy between playing in good weather and bad weather makes like a real big difference. And Buffalo can be fishy. I don't know exactly what the weather's like out there today, but the discrepancy between how a game could play in a dome versus an outside game just extends as the weather gets colder. So the Buffalo thing, it's a little weird from a weather perspective, but their pricing is just so freaking soft on the Buffalo side, and the stacking is just so easy that I'm getting a good amount of them. And on DraftKings, in addition to the Jacksonvilles, I'm getting some San Francisco as well. The guys it was weird. The thing I ran earlier, and I had to kind of force out, but then it's not showing up as much. I don't know what happened. Was Miami? Miami, when I first ran it earlier today, they wanted me to play like 80% Miami. They wanted to play all the Tua and Parker and Gesicki and because Gaskin is considered part of it as well. But as I just reran stuff, I've just not had quite as much of it. But that's where I am as far as game stacks go.
Yeah, I think that I'm in a similar place. I really like the idea of the low-owned Burrow stack. I actually think the total in that game is a little bit low. It seems weird to have a Cincinnati with only a 20-point total in any game, to be honest with you. I like that as an off-the-board one. I mentioned that I sort of like a little bit to try and run back on the other side of this Green Bay game because I do think Rodgers and Adams are going to go nuts. Adams especially. I personally am like, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that I've considered. I'm on the Jacksonville game a little bit too as well. I've got 15% Trevor Lawrence and in some stacks there. And there's natural run back with Cooks. I don't mind using Lawrence and James Robinson in the same lineup, especially at the prices. So I'm okay with all that. I want to get all the exposure to San Francisco, but I want none of it to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll play Debo, and you know what I mean? Because it just Debo we're playing as a high end, not a high usage running back, but he's really become like he's like the glorified version of Cordarrelle Patterson these days. He's just getting that running work and the touchdowns. So I love the San Francisco stuff. I'll get into positions and stuff like that, but mostly that's what I'm going by as positions. I do have a little bit of interest in Tua. I do like Dak. I mentioned Aaron Rodgers already. I think I think Josh Allen is still, even, the weather doesn't seem too bad in Buffalo. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of gust up to 10 miles an hour, which after that game against New England a couple of weeks ago feels like it basically might be like sunny and 80 degrees because it just doesn't seem like it should affect things all that much. So I do like that. And with no Emmanuel Sanders, that it opens up Beasley and Gabriel Davis and all that stuff. And I'm still going to be playing a lot of the Allen to Diggs stuff. That's just makes too much sense to me. I actually do have like 5% of the run back on the other side of the Jacksonville game. So I guess Sheets that I'm kind of with you without having 20% of that game, but I'm playing a little bit of the Davis Mills, which feels really gross, but I'm playing a little bit of Mills on the other side. I do think that something's being overlooked, even with Urban Meyer being fired and maybe that giving a little boost to the Jacksonville stuff. Like guys like Marvin Jones, who were fighting with Urban Meyer. Don't you think that he has a better opportunity? I just feel like there's the receivers who are going to be low owned. I feel like have big opportunities there, even if I'm not stacking. I'm going to answer. I'm going to pose a few questions from chat, and then we'll go over to positions real quick. We're going to try and get out of here by 12:15. Let's see. We got. I got the. What did I see that I thought was a good question? Oh, Michael Carter or Myles Gaskin. Obviously, different prices. I prefer Gaskin, but I am happy to use Carter as well. Where do you stand on that question, Rhodey, and then Sheets?
Yeah, Carter's kind of pop. Both of them are popping in about the same. Gaskin's got a better projection just by a couple points, but for the by price, Carter projects really good, obviously. So I'm going to use a little bit of both of them. So I'll have Carter and Gaskin in some of my lineups. So for sure.
Sheets, answer that one, and then transition into what running backs you like, and then we'll go to Rhodey with running backs he likes, and I'll finish it up.
I currently have Carter at 25%, including in my big buy-in. I currently don't have as much Gaskin. I only have about 10% of him. So that's where I stand on that question.
Gotcha.
How about we go into other running backs and stuff?
Yeah, other running backs you like.
Right. So I currently have 95% James Robinson on DraftKings. I'm trying my best to not have that much, but it's just difficult. I mean, the pricing is just too soft on him, and then the spot seems good. It's the free James Robinson thing too, with the quote. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be, and it sucks because he's going to. I think he's going to be 50% owned minimum.
The big buy-ins, he definitely will be.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I guess that one way to solve that is to play 95% of him, right? To get over the field.
Yeah.
Because I'm having difficulty finding other good running backs. So I'll just tell you like who my kind of sprinkles are. So I do have 25% Najee Harris. I think he's going to be a natural, alternative too. But I have 25% Barkley, which is scary. I have 15% Zeke, which is just seems uber fishy, but I have that. And then I have like 12%. What's his name? Singletary. These are my options. I'm not really getting to a lot of guys that I'm kind of happy with. And whenever I do that, maybe I should just go back to what I say every week, and why not just keep playing Joe Mixon until they tell me not to. I don't know.
I'm with you. Yep.
So that's where I'm at with running back. I'm finding it difficult to not play Robinson.
Yeah, I hear you there. I had that initially today. I've got him down to 60%, so I'm feeling a little bit better because it just doesn't feel right to have. Yeah. But then again, this is a week where we've got pretty suspect guys. If you look at the point per dollar guys who are rating out the best, Michael Carter and Jeff Wilson being the other two guys who Robinson's competing with, along with Myles Gaskin, you kind of feel like you want to play James Robinson. Rhodey, how about you at running back?
Yeah, I think you might. Yeah, there's a couple backups for the Jets are out now. Perion and Ty Johnson ruled out.
Yep.
I just got inactive on that. So
wait, who's out? Who's out?
P. Ryan and Ty Johnson, which I actually had that as probable, so that they were going to be out. But still,
you had them probable? Yeah, our projections don't have them even listed out, so they're still in the projections mostly.
If that's then Michael Carter should shoot up because on my projection thing he's out there off there. But go ahead.
Yeah, Michael Carter should be a better play. I think 4,700. He might be like that type of free square if we get some work out of him. I do like that Miami defense. They've been playing good all year, but I think at 4,700 you got to play that in. Going back with what Sheets said, I really like the Mixon call. I think he's in a good spot. I got him a little bit. I like Mixon. I do still like Zeke. I've been high on Zeke all year, so those guys have a couple lower ownership running backs you can get in. Zeke's not going to be that low as Mixon will be. But yeah, I definitely like those guys. I'm high on James Robinson, Najee, got some Gaskin and Carter sprinkled in as well. So I'm not doing any MME. I'm doing mostly single entries or higher buy-in stuff. So I'm going to be pretty condensed to the top guys. Sheets, what higher buy-in are you doing today? FanDuel or DK higher buy-in?
DK, I have a ticket to. I'm being cheapo today. DK, I have a ticket to the Wildcat. So I'm going to use that for DK.
Oh, that's your higher buy. I thought you were like at a 1,500 or 4,444 or something. Like
dude,
that.
The day
that I mess with that.
She's don't mess. Dude, if I'm going to be,
well,
competing if I'm going to be competing against guys like Rhodey, I mean, what's the hell's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point? Dude, it wasn't until like this year that I even tried the Wildcat, man. I'm not. I don't play that stuff. I just don't. I don't know.
I really like that Wildcat though. That's a good one to play. I think.
But this year I've been doing good. This year I think of the 10 times I played, I think I've cashed in it like five or six times.
I really like that contest.
But the problem is again, and this is why I not that I don't like football, whatever it is. This is why I struggle with this because I never seem to have like a sweat for a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like I always feel as though I'm too chalky and just kind of like cashing and maybe in a good day finishing in the top 5% or something like that. So something about my process just makes me just not like my lineups for for much of anything in football. But I whine about it, but I still win. You know, which is kind of which is kind of weird. You know, like
winning money is winning money. It doesn't matter if it comes in 10 times over one time. It doesn't matter. You're still doing it. And she said this. He did this with basketball with me for a while, Rody. He wouldn't play the good one. And then he starts playing, and every time I see, top 5, number 5, number 3, number 2. I'm going to just really quick mention a couple guys who you didn't mention. I agree with most of the guys and even the pivots you mentioned at running back, but a couple guys who are going to be left they're going to have some ownership, but why are we not playing James Conner? I mean, I understand
he might not play though.
I know, and we have to be ready for that. But we'll know any minute about that. But assuming he plays, this guy has been an absolute monster.
Yeah,
and he looks great. I don't know why they would just give the job to Edmonds. What worries me is that maybe if he's a little banged up, if they blow him out, he doesn't get as much run in the second half. But that is a guy who I think is could put up like 25 in the first half. Like I really think he's got a huge upside there. I like the Mixon call that you guys mentioned. And then my one, weird one is maybe to play Melvin Gordon in a really important game here. And I know you've got the split with Javonte Williams. They both have still gotten there enough times. He's maybe an interesting addition to the other 54. I don't know if I want to play him over the James Robinson and maybe even Gaskin, but I think that in addition or instead of one of those guys, I think you could play Melvin Gordon. I think that's very viable. The other one that's really weird and it feels kind of gross to say because of how much love they have for A.J. Dillon and it's on your team, Rody, is I still am sort of tempted to take a shot with Aaron Jones. Just at no ownership at his price. We've seen this before from him, and we've seen him even starting to lose snaps in past seasons even, and he'll end up, putting up 35 fantasy points. So those are my sort of, I don't want to say get weird, but get a little bit off the board guys who I'm taking some looks at. I also will use a little bit of Saquon, who's fairly chalky on my Dallas run backs. I do think the Dallas passing game, and I'm going to transition over to wide receiver. I think the Dallas passing game is being overlooked too much here. I don't see any reason why you got one guy who's barely going to break double digits and then no love for Cooper, even Gallup. I know Wilson's supposed to be back and it could muck things up a little bit, but I could see Dallas just hammering this one down. I really think that even if you don't play Dak, like playing one of these receivers separate from Dak, I feel like somebody puts up a big number here. I actually would lean Cooper over Lamb, but I really like both of them. So that's what I'm going to get some exposure to in my wide receivers. I also like everything from San Francisco. I like Debo. I like Brandon Ayuk. A weird guy who I'm going to try and get some exposure to is St. Brown for Detroit because I will have a couple Kyler stacks and a couple Connor, just little run backs for that. The other Deontay Johnson, I think he has a really high price, but I think he's an interesting pivot off of some of the other really, really top high end receivers. And I like the Diggs thing. I like Beasley and Davis. And then I do like Devontae Parker today for whether or not you're playing Tua. I'd like Devontae Parker for Miami, and I will have some Shenault and Marvin Jones, as previously said. I think a good tournament play, large field, would be Russell Gage, and I am very happy to go back to Julio Jones at low ownership to run across from my Najee Harris and Deontay Johnsons. Rody, why don't you start off the wide receiver for who you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, you said it really good. I like a lot of those plays, even that Julio as a flyer, running back on Najee. I'm very big on secondary correlations. I don't think I like a lot of run backs today, but I do like some secondary correlations a lot, and those guys fit perfect. If we do get news on Connor being out or something, we got like the Edmonds, and I do like St. Brown. Like you said, like even that as a secondary correlation, like feel like if Murray fails, maybe, Edmonds gets there or Connor gets there, and then, the Lions are still going to be throwing the ball. They're going to be chucking it. They're going to have to catch up and try to win, I really like Deontay Johnson, Devontae Adams. You're going to have to play Parker a little bit. I think he's projecting best point per dollar in that game. I like Gesicki in that game. I know Miami guys were popping a lot more earlier, like she said, but they're still popping, but on my projections. So I like that, the Beasley. Rondale Moore's another guy I like in that Arizona game. He's still coming in at low ownership. I don't know why everyone likes Christian Kirk. Everyone likes AJ Green, but Rondale Moore 4.4. I like him. I like my man Gabe Davis. He's a little chalky in that game. He should get some more work. He's been getting looks all year, so
we were on that one early. I feel like that's one we can put in our little feather in our cap on. We were on the Gabe Davis call that he's going to have something happen this year. I know there's no Sanders now, but even with Sanders, I mean, Hey, he won our touchdown prop bet that one night for our guys, and that was a nice one. So sorry, keep going.
No, you're spot on. So he's been playing good. So some of these cheap guys I've been high on all year. Like Rondell Moore, I've played a lot. Gabe Davis, I've actually played a lot. Beasley a little bit too much. He's cheap in that game. Diggs has been open though. He can have a huge game. He's not projecting very well today. But he's been open a few times where Allen's not finding him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if he has that 3 touchdown bomb game, you guys are going to need him stacked with like a Devontae or Deontay Johnson. Like one of those 3 guys, I think, in the expensive receivers are going to want to get there today, and you're going to want to have at least one of them. So
I agree with that totally.
So that's my take of the day.
Yeah, I was going to say one other thing I was going to say is that if you want to try to win a big field tournament, just play one of the Cincinnati receivers, play one of the Dallas receivers. And you're going to have low ownership on that combination of just nobody's playing Cincinnati receivers today. They deserve to be in the conversation as well. I just want to throw.
Yeah, I should have probably said that. I have a Chase Higgins stack with Burrow. I like.
Mm-hmm.
I've been high on Chase all year. He's he's an electric player. Can go have big ceiling. I'm playing guys. If you haven't noticed, I'm targeting guys with ceiling games. Guys that can score 30. Guys that scored 37. Chase scored 37 points for me one week. These guys can have boom weeks. Deontay Johnson can get 10 balls. 2 touchdowns. Like these guys are big week scores. I'm trying to fit these guys in there. So that's kind of why I like them. And CeeDee Lamb, low ownership, I have him as well. Like he's a guy that can go off for a few touchdowns in that game. I like. So get some of those guys that can give you 30 points is kind of how I approach it.
Yep. How about you this week, Sheets?
First of all, between Mixon and Burrow and all these guys, hey, I hope they get those ceilings for you because everybody, you're asking for trouble going into Denver. But that's why again it's a GPP type play, because
it's trade.
It's I don't think they make medians. I think they either hit ceilings or they get wrecked.
Boomer bust.
So I think they're really really good plays for that reason. With receivers, I'm with the field. I guess I'm Devontae Adams. I have like 50% of him. I guess that's what he's going to be on. Sounds about right. Just the incredible spot. Baltimore, their secondary sucks. Adams will score as much as he wants. I think. And the other receivers, I have way too much of. I have way too much Devontae Parker. I have like 45% of him. I don't really. He hasn't really been a ceiling guy in like a while, I think. You know what I mean?
He hasn't been playing all year, too. That doesn't help.
Yeah, and I know that Waddle's out, so naturally the projections are going to filter like usage and targets over to him. But he was a target guy anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what – I think that what's his name being out, I think it favors like some other guys more. Like it does like who's the other guys that are like Albert Wilson? I don't know who the other Miami receivers are. I know Gesicki will probably take money because of that, but who's the other wide receiver? I think that
Preston Williams.
Yeah, whoever. You know what
Wilson,
I mean? I think
Williams and Hollins. Yeah,
I think those guys are more likely to get the bump from Waddle being out than for ownership to come piling in on Parker. You know what I mean? That's my take on it. That's why I think, but I have too much of him, right? I have 45%. That's like one of the first things I'm gonna do is pare that down a little bit. I like your Marvin Jones. Obviously I have like a bunch of of Jacksonville, so it's gonna be there anyway. And then I have the Deontay Johnson 25%, which seems to be either with the field or maybe a little bit higher, but it makes certainly a good play. So the thing is that with James Robinson, it opens up for you to be able to play all this stuff,
and Carter, yeah.
And yeah, exactly. So other receivers, there's Shenault. I'm looking at that. I don't have that much of Julio, but there's nothing that too off the board aside from what you guys said already. Diggs as part of stacks, Higgins as part of, like you were saying. I got a couple of obviously some nonsense plays. Oh, I got a decent amount. I got 15% of Berrios from the Jets.
Okay.
So that's something. And if people are going to play Miami, people are starved for run backs. I think that Berrios certainly makes a lot of sense. And so that I wish I had something a little more exciting for receivers, but that's about all I got.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's not unexciting. That makes sense to me. I do want to mention it, and then I'll lead into tight end, and I think Jerry Jeudy is the other receiver that's getting overlooked as well at 5,400. I know he hasn't had that big game for us yet, but I think this could be a good spot against Cincinnati in a game that I like Rody was talking about, a nice little secondary stack, one of Chase or Higgins or Mixon, and then run it back with either Jeudy, and then I'll transition over to tight end. Noah Fant, I think, is an interesting play as well. That's going to be off the board. But my tight ends are a lot of the guys who people like. I like Kittle. I like Gesicki. I like Pitts. Those are the popular ones. And then I really like Dawson Knox. If you want to do a different thing with your pairing in the Buffalo Carolina game with Josh Allen, those are the more popular ones. I think O'Shaughnessy and Evan Ingram are my cheaper guys that I'm looking at this week if I have to go down there. And I like the Mark Andrews idea as well. So how about you, Rhodey? And then Sheets take it away after Rhodey.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got Shaughnessy, Gesicki, and Kittle as my 3 tight ends. Those are the guys I'm going to go to the most. I'm not doing that many lineups, so those guys are literally in all the builds I'm doing. If you want, another guy I like Ingram, CJ Uzoma in that game against Denver. I know that game's probably not going to be as good as you want, but like he's had some big weeks. If you're stacking that game up as a real boom GPP game, to get way different, then that's another different play. Fairmoose in there too. I like the Knox call. He's been good, and no one wants to pay up for that. Just guys I'm not really getting to. And I talked about Andrews. If you want to really stack that Green Bay Baltimore game up, he's had really good games the past couple of weeks, I think.
Yep.
So he even from the backup, he's getting looks. So no matter who plays there, you can kind of rely on him. So yeah, he's getting a lot more. He's getting a lot of targets. 4 of the last 5 games, double-digit targets, and it's like 11, 9, 10, 10, 8, 10. So he gets a ton of targets, guys. So I don't mind that in that game. We've gave up big plays at tight ends before Green Bay. I watched all their games, guys. I don't ever look into that though. I go by projections, but I'm just saying we have been like Kittle's had big games on the Packers. Other tight ends have had big games in the Packers. So he's a flyer if you want to take a Millie shot.
I like that idea. Go ahead, Sheets. How about you?
Yeah, first of all, I like that tight end for the Packers, by the way. That
oh yeah, the new guy.
Yeah, I like that guy from the Packers. I forget his name. But I got 55% Kittle. And so I got a couple of P Browns for you guys if you want. So I got
Evan Jordan.
Yeah. Hold on. I got S Zylstra.
Okay.
I got Ryan. I got Ryan Griffin. I do have Fant, by the way, who's in that game that you mentioned. Okay, I think he's like actually a legitimate play.
Yeah, I do too.
Then I got you mentioned the B Jordan, the A Okunboom.
Yeah. A-okay.
Yeah, you mentioned B right, and then I think that was and just so you guys know, I got the Ferkser. You mentioned Uzoma. But you meant, by the way, I think Ertz is active, by the way. If anybody was waiting on that. Ertz was questionable, and I think they announced that he is active. I was originally having him, then I X'd him out because I thought he was going to be going to play, so I got to go back to that. But it's Kittle for me. I mean, honestly, that's my play. And if any of the other ones get there, that's great. I don't think I have any of the guys I mentioned over like 7%. I mean, I'm really just like spread out throughout the board. But tight ends have been, and I think Gesicki can be pretty. I would imagine that he's going to be pretty chalky.
Especially with the other tight ends out too. Like, he doesn't have anything.
And that's where I'm at with tight end.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did want to make a note that Zane Gonzalez was just helped off the field, and usually, like, people have different ways of looking when kickers get hurt. But
who is that?
Zane, he's the kicker for Carolina, and it just happened. So if he's gonna have, if you lose your normal kicking game, the thing is, it always makes me like the offense a little bit better because you're gonna probably have to go for it on 4th down more often and whatnot. It also makes me think that Buffalo is in better shape in this game than they already were. So if you wanted to bet the spreads or anything, this is probably even a better time to do that. But I think it makes that game more viable for run backs with DJ Moore and with Robbie Anderson. I know you guys can laugh at Robbie Anderson all you want. He put up 21 last week, and I think this is a spot where I could take the secondary receiver more often than the main receiver against Buffalo because of how good they are against number ones. All right, let's talk defenses. I actually think there's a conversation to have this week more than usual on defenses, and other people, you guys may disagree. we don't have the super cheap, okay, this is going to be an awesome play kind of a defense. I mean, the Jags are probably going to show up as a popular cheapish one. The Bills are going to show up as popular. Those both make sense to me. I think if you can get up to the Dolphins, they're going to have some ownership, but that's a really good spot, obviously. And it makes for a nice, you could play Gaskin with the Dolphins. I'm sort of starting this one off. And then paying all the way up for Arizona is pretty easy to do. And there's no reason why that couldn't be that they have a chance to really put up a high number for a defense. And because I'm finding myself with some extra room if I want it, I'm going to take some of these shots on some of these defenses that are a little bit higher priced because we don't have the low defenses that I feel like have really realistic shots of putting up a number. My favorite of the low end ones would probably be the Jets against Miami. And that just goes to tell you how much I don't love the cheap defenses this week. What are you doing at defense sheets? And then we'll jump over to Rody.
Yeah, my highest owned defense is actually a pay up, and I have 22% Cowboys. That's my.
Okay. I like that.
That's my highest owned, but I got some funny bits. I got 15% Jets. I do have 20% Bills, so that's going to be pretty chalky, and the rest is pretty much on everything's a sprinkle. But those are my big stands. I guess I think the Jaguars obviously would be really popular. I have only 10% of them, but I do the Cowboys my top own 22%, and then as I said, the Jets I think are not bad at 15%.
Yep. All right. How about you, Rody? What are you looking at defense wise?
Yeah, I do like that Jets at that 2,500 on DK. That gives you a little bit more off of the Jags at 2,800 on DK. So I got some Jags, I got some Jets. I do like the Cowboys at 3,600 a little bit more, and I got a lot of the Bills. 3,100 for the Bills is tough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they're not kicking field goals now, maybe they'll try for more fourth downs, so maybe they won't get them as much. So the Bills could be a little bit more viable as well. Better field position for the Bills. The defense could not be out there as much. I don't know. Stopping them more.
Yeah, it makes sense. Let me ask you though, real quick, because I'm just trying to take a look through these games and see if there's anything maybe we didn't touch on before I get to the questions. And guys, pop in your questions right now.
Yeah, I got a couple for you. Okay,
all right, go ahead.
So I'm tracking back through my DraftKings lineups and going over guys that I haven't discussed yet. So you kept mentioning the Cincinnati game for a little bit. I do have like over 10% of Tim Patrick for Denver in that game. The other thing is that I'll add the tight end list. I do have like 5% Mercedes Lewis. Again, that's what my tight end situation just kind of looks like. And I do have one like total like zero. I don't know if he's gonna do whatever, but with what's his name out for Arizona, playing Kirk or whatever, I do have like a full 6% of Antoine Wesley, who's 3K. So I will just throw that out there. And then he's getting a little DK thing, a little blurb. It says, Wesley will take on a larger role in the Arizona offense with DeAndre Hopkins undergoing knee surgery. And he's 3K, and I haven't heard him mentioned once yet. So I will throw him into the mix at not, like I said, not in the 4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4 or whatever. But,
damn, jeez, I was just about to put him in my lineup, man.
I know. Sorry about that. Yeah, if you put him in your lineup, that might be the only lineup with him in it. You know what I mean? With him.
I will know I'm different in that contest.
Yeah.
Rody, anything else that we maybe didn't touch on in terms of like actual plays that we're playing? And guys, a reminder, please get some questions in because we'll go up for another 10 minutes if we can do that.
One thing I did see was Zach Moss is inactive. Was that supposed to be?
Yeah, I had that as in there, and it's that's a weird one because I understand that some people will want to play Singletary, but it could just as likely be Breida. Like, I don't know.
That's what I mean. Breida could be back in play there too. Like if you're MME or he could get a better projection bump, I think.
Hey, I got one more for you, by the way. This is actually legit also. I mean, if you're going to play the Jacksonvilles, I mean, you're talking about Cooks. I will say this, that for Houston, Nico Collins had 10 targets last week. And he's 3,500. So I figured I would just throw that in there.
I like that call, actually. I think it's a good point, and I shouldn't make a note of it right now.
Yeah, I feel like I never get Cooks right either. Like I have him weeks he doesn't do good, then I had him when he does do good, or don't have him when he's good.
And he's for what it's worth, he's been much better unfortunately, with Tyrod than he has been with Mills. But yeah, I like the Nico Collins call. I think that's actually something you could do as a pivot off of Gabriel Davis chalk.
Yeah.
All right, y'all getting any Julio? I have 25% Julio.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I think Julio at 5,400 is a great play today. I don't think he's just a good play. So I am very high on Julio. And I'm guessing that neither of you guys are on him.
No, I only have 5% of Julio.
Rody, I'm guessing you're not interested.
No, I have Julio paired with Najee on one.
Okay.
My Trevor Lawrence build, I got that combo secondary.
I've got Julio. I got better. I got Julio paired with Joe Mixon. So
from a totally different game.
In my Mixon lineup, I got a Sutton in that one.
Nice. Yeah, but do you have Joe Mixon, Julio Jones, and B. Wright in the same lineup? That's the question.
I do not have any B. Wright.
That's it.
Who is B. Wright?
That's that other tight end, right?
Listen, if you want to be right, you're gonna have to play Brock Wright at tight end in the line.
If you want to be right, don't be right.
But in all seriousness, by the way, if you are going to play Arizona and you wanted to run something back from Detroit, I mean, Josh Reynolds is a very, I think he's very legit.
I think
he's got a good play downfield for targets too in that defense. Like he's some stat I seen for getting some good, not air yards, but like he'll catch a bomb. He should be able to catch some balls downfield.
Yeah, I'm playing some St. Brown, but I think Josh Reynolds is a good other call of pivot off of Devontae Parker.
Sure.
The same price. All right, guys, keep popping in anything else. Other than that, we'll just keep giving some takes out here. I do have notes from the show to add more of the Burrow, add a little more Burrow stack, add a little bit more Marvin Jones, potentially some Treadwell, Nico Collins, Josh Reynolds, who we just talked about, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Carter, who I had some of, but I probably want to get a little less Connor for me because I've got like 55% Connor right now and I'm a little nervous. To add some St. Brown, more Kittle probably for me, lots of Ayuk, and a little bit more of Debo. Let's see. I don't know what that one means from DFS Wolfpack, but I'm sure there's some inside reference that he's got that I'm just missing. Rody, any sort of takes from either the show or things that you might be doing that maybe we didn't discuss or did discuss, but you want to reemphasize?
I don't know. I'm just, trying to finalize my notes like you got there too, see what I got. I did get Aaron Jones into a lineup, like from what you said, you guys like some Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
I do like Dylan in that game too. The problem I have with Denver backs, the Green Bay backs, they're all splitting, a little bit of work, even like Pollard, like you guys were early in the season where Pollard was in the pitcher more with Zeke. You guys are like, oh, I can't play Zeke. Pollard's in there. So I just kind of have that feeling about some of these other running backs that we're looking at, same with why I don't have as much as Edmonds or Connor, everyone's like, oh, we need to get more Connor, but they're kind of splitting the back work as well, so, and, if Connor's questionable, how much are you going to go? You're going to pivot right to Edmonds mostly then?
Is that news out yet on that game or no?
Well, we should have that news because that's an early game, isn't it?
It's a 1:00 game. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm waiting.
I have no news, which means that I'm assuming that he's in. Oh, I have him as in.
Okay.
I have Connor as in. I'm just going to see if there's any coach speak or anything like that because that's or anything like he's looking good to play. Yeah, they announced he and Ertz are good to go. It looks like
Connor is. Yeah, they sent an inactives report. Let me read it.
Hey, who else is an interesting pivot off of Parker? If you're going to play the Packers, you could play Lazard.
Yeah, Rody, what do you think about that? You've said for a while now about liking Lazard, and I didn't hear you mention him today. I think that's actually kind of an interesting way to go. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't want to give all my lineups away, but here's my Rodgers stack. Rodgers, Adams, Lazard in the flex. So I do have them. Okay. That's my only Rodgers stack. So that one I got paired with Mixon and Sutton in that same lineup. And I don't have any run backs in that game.
I'll tell you, you talk about ceilings. I mean, like I'm looking at this Parker thing, and as I'm scrolling down trying to like manually take out Parker, there are guys that can put up numbers like Cortland Sutton. I mean, around that price tag. I mean, he could put up a freaking number, right?
Yeah.
It's
Boy, maybe
this is what I need to do to like get myself maybe possibly sweats is take shots at guys like that, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, I like Rondell Moore. We talked about too.
Yes.
He gets that same price because he can run the ball and he's getting like jet sweeps. And if he breaks one down the sideline on the Lions, like that's gonna be huge for a run play.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Sutton. I like Judy. Like I think Bobby said a little Judy. You know, he's 5'4" on decal. I like that. I think I got him in one. Julio at 5'4". You know, some of these guys that can get you guys some upside at lower ownership. I definitely like these guys we're talking about here on the show.
Nice. All right. All in on Lawrence and Allen today for DFS Wolfpack. I'm not too far behind you. I'm not quite all that into it, but I like it. He was saying that "Can you dig it, sucker?" was the Booker T quote with the Diggs nod to compliment the thumbnail of the video. Oh, that was beyond me.
Yeah, I put the Diggs thumbnail up. My bad.
No. You're good. I just missed it. Good one, DFS Wolfpack. All right, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, we're probably going to get out of here, finish building up some lineups.
I got one more possible, not Millie Maker win, but it's gonna. Oh, before I do that, what did you think of the? Because I'm right on the lineup right now. What do you think, Rody, of the Packers running backs? You like any of them or no?
Yeah, I think you can play Dillon or Jones. So yeah, both those guys. So
it's tough to have them in the same price tag as Gaskin, though, right?
Yeah, the 5,700 for Dillon. Yeah, when Gaskin's gonna get most of all the work. Yeah,
it's a little tricky.
I like him for the MME. I got him in a couple milli lineup, just like I've been building some $20 lineups.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, I know Rody's got a bunch of lineups to finish getting through. I know Sheets is probably more relaxed and easy as he always is, and probably pretty set to go. And I have definitely got to go whittle down some lineups and get some different variations. But guys,
so I would be remiss not to encourage all who are listening to root for the Arizona Cardinals to win, and also for the Miami Dolphins to lose, if that's at all possible. For my survivor pool this week.
Let's go. That would be huge.
That would be nice. Obviously, we would take just the Arizona win. Surviving is nice and whatever. But there's a big glut of people on Miami, which makes sense. They're probably going to win 80% of the time. But you know what? 20% counts.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how that goes.
Maybe we even get you a San Francisco loss on top of it, or maybe that's too greedy.
Maybe.
How many are left in that one, on the Circa one?
Still 23 because they all advanced from last week. I posted that in the Survivor Discord, the whole breakdown of the picks. 12 of the 23 took Miami this week. And then only 5 took Arizona. So we have a lot of leverage in that spot. And then I have like 4 or so that took San Francisco. And then a couple, there's one stray Jaguars pick, one stray Minnesota pick, one stray Bucks pick, or whatever. Bucks aren't losing, whatever. But so we'll just see what happens. Hopefully Arizona takes care of business. I don't have to sweat that too much, and I can anti-sweat the rest. So we'll see what happens.
Sure, the Bucks aren't losing?
Yeah, they're not losing.
I'll tell you right now, I think the Bucks might lose this week.
Oh, they're playing the Saints this week, right?
Yeah, that's their team. I tell you, every time they play the Saints or the Rams,
that's true.
They know exactly how to get after Brady, and for some reason they just cannot mess with him. Same thing with Washington too, by the way. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you all, and we will be in Discord all day. And let's see some screenshots like Rody did for us yesterday, like Sheets did it for us yesterday. Hopefully, all 3 of us can do it as well as you guys. And good luck to everybody, and we will see you at the top of the leaderboard.
All right, good luck, boys. Later, everybody.